Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Welcome to iFIBER 1 News. I'm Cody Johnson reporting news from around the Columbia Basin for Tuesday, April 30th. Tonight we report on how the Grant County Commissioners selected a new district court judge and how a Florida man is accused of falsely portraying himself as an alarm salesman. We also look at how a woman was arrested for talking about bombs at Grand Coulee Dam and how a new project is starting up on the Columbia River. In sports, Wenatchee Wild are tied with Fairbanks in the West Division Finals, and we'll tell you about the latest from the NBA's David Stern on bringing the Sonics back to Seattle. Our spotlight story tonight is about the director for the State Department of Agriculture visiting the Moses Lake Food Bank. And we have the latest weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. Our top story tonight, Deputy Prosecutor Tyson Hill was selected as the 3rd Grant County District Court Judge. The Grant County Commissioners approved a motion to appoint him to the position unanimously, but they told all the candidates that any of them would have been a good fit. District Court Commissioner Brian Barlow and Ephrata Attorney Nick Wallace were also finalists chosen by a committee from a pool of 10 candidates. Commissioner Richard Stevens said Hill interviewed better than the other 2 candidates. Stevens spoke about why he chose Hill. They all had their strengths. They all had their weaknesses. Hill had a lot of trial experience. He had experience with the state Supreme Court. He will be up for election in 2014. Hill said, "There is so many great people in this community. It's the reason I wanted to be a prosecutor. It's the reason I wanted to be a judge. They deserve someone who is going to know the law and apply it." A Florida man was arrested in Moses Lake after allegedly posing as a burglar and fire alarm salesman. Ryan Lee Schmidt, a 24-year-old Sarasota, Florida man, was reportedly a former employee of Vivint and is now jailed on suspicion of residential burglary. Quincy Police and the Grant County Sheriff's Office are seeking information from citizens who may have unknowingly fallen victim to the phony salesman. Schmidt was wearing a gray polo shirt with the orange Vivint logo and carrying a Vivint identification card when approaching victims. Schmidt was reportedly fired from Vivint earlier in April. Any homeowner in Grant County who may have recently let Schmidt into their homes is advised to check for stolen items. If a crime is suspected, residents are asked to call 509-762-1160. A new business is ready to help people who stay off the well-worn path with their cars and trucks. And here to tell you about it is Spencer Graham.
Off-roading, mudding, and tearing around in the dunes are all common spring and summer hobbies for those living in Moses Lake. Hobbies that sometimes require a little helping hand now and then. Jake Codiga owns a towing business called Ride and Dirty 4x4 Recovery, which specializes in helping these thrill seekers out of the mud when they need a tow.
I do a lot of recovery with my buddies, pull them out, tug them, whatever, wherever they get stuck in the mud, water, sand. So we just decided to make it a service to the community.
Aside from working strictly with off-road vehicles in trouble, Codiga also helps anyone in the local area needing a tow, like this out-of-commission white sedan. With off-road fun comes off-road dangers. Codiga has confronted his fair share of problems while helping those with vehicular needs.
Just recently, I had to put about $2,500 into the front end of my Jeep. We had a Chevy Duramax that was dropped down about 60 foot into a hole and about 30 feet out into the mud, and got him almost all the way out, and then the front end gave way and snapped everything. So I guess it's par for course, you know.
Jake enjoys his job and finds it rewarding.
Where it comes from me is I enjoy playing in the sand, and it gives me a chance to get out and just go wheeling, even if I'm just going out to do a simple, tow.
For more information on Riding Dirty, you can call 509-398-4588 or look them up on Facebook. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Spencer Graham reporting.
Thanks, Spencer. A California woman was arrested after allegedly making a bomb threat while on a tour at Grand Coulee Dam. 33-year-old Christina Frisvold was reportedly booked into the Okanagan County Jail and released the next day on her personal recognizance. The Star newspaper reported Frisvold was arrested by a Coulee Dam police officer after she allegedly told him 2 times that she had a bomb. She was on the tour with her boyfriend, who reportedly told her to stop talking about bombs. Frisvold was taken away from the rest of the tour group, where she allegedly told officials that she was only kidding. Each of the people you see here have warrants for their arrest and are wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the DOC asks you not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day, or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We'll be right back after these messages with the latest with the weather forecast for the Columbia Basin, and we've got sports and more news on the way.